The Mole Season 13 Day of the Dead has come to an end, and here are all the hidden clues pointing to the identity of Pranav as the mole this season. One big recurring clue throughout the season was the use of alliteration. The mole was Pranav Patel or Prophet, which should have clued you in to looking for the letter P. In most seasons I like to insert references and mission names that use alliteration, but this season I steered clear of that where possible, except for the letter P. In Mission 2, Thank God It's Frida, I used the phrase phony paintings. Mission 4 was titled Pyramid Predictions. At Dinner 2, I introduced Gus as Princess Paxton. In Mission 3, Choose Your Own Adventure, I used the phrase Plaza Park. In Mission 5, Ball Game of Death, Courtney used the phrase Paid Power-Ups. Mission 7 was titled Picture Perfect. In Mission 9, Back from the Dead, I used the phrase Predictions Perceptive. In Mission 18, Bart Walk Bewilderment, Courtney used the phrase Perfect Players. At Dinner 9, I used the phrase Pierside Picnic. And PP wasn't just in the words but also in the pictures. In Mission 1, Pinned to Blame, the letters PP were hidden in the drawing of the donkey. Here's the second set of clues. Pranav's game rep comes from New Jersey. My first words when starting the season were, Dim the Lights and the Big Brother 9 house. This was a reference to the most recent game season, Big Brother 9. The location of that season was New Jersey. One of the missions was also the only exception to the PP alliteration rule. Mission 19, Boardwalk Bewilderment. This was the exact same title as one of the BB9 comps, which referenced the Atlantic City Boardwalk in New Jersey. Pranav's rep has a number of occupations: lawyer, model, dancer, biomedical engineer, and social media influencer. He was also an intern at NASA at some point. At Dinner 2, in her very first message of the season, Courtney said she modeled her winning All-Stars game through the lessons she learned. In Mission 10, Hang in the Balance, Courtney made a reference to models and influencers. At Dinner 8, I used the word space or space as an example word for the S or ES rule, a reference to Pranav's NASA internship. At the final dinner, Courtney said that the team might need a good lawyer. Aside from the PP title, Mission 7 Picture Perfect had tons of clues, the items that players had to photograph. The briefcase was a reference to Pranav being an entrepreneur and a brand ambassador for Samsonite. The scales were a reference to Pranav as a lawyer. The syringe was a reference to Pranav as a biomedical engineer. The CD was a reference to Pranav as a dancer. The Lightbot was a reference to Pranav as a model. The Snakes and Ladders board game, which originated from India, paired with the Couscous, which originated from Africa, were a reference to Pranav's dance group, Aphrodesi, which combines Indian and African dance. The flower referenced the word petal, which is an anagram of the name Patel. Mission 11, It's a Trap, or the escape room mission, also had a number of clues. This was the 11th mission, and the number 11 was hidden and revealed with ultraviolet light. The password for Phase 1 was 0110. Pranav is alphabetically the 11th player in the cast. There was a symbol of balanced scales, another reference to Pranav's occupation as a lawyer. The compass in Phase 3 pointed northwest. Pranav went to Northwestern University. A mascot of Northwest University is a wildcat. 2 wildcats were featured in the book with the seemingly random story about Mayan folklore during Phase 2. A jaguar and an ocelot. A book is in the university's logo alongside a sun, which was also featured in this story. The story also mentioned alligators even though they're not native to Mexico. Pranav also attended the University of Florida, whose mascot is an alligator. Right before Mission 13, I specifically mentioned that the team was flying northwest, another reference to Northwestern University. Alright, time for a dinner clue. At Dinner 5, we served the drink Jarritos for dinner. Take the first letter of each Jarritos flavor listed in order: P, T, L, S, M, and L. Now fill in one vowel after each letter and you get the words Patel is mole. At Dinner 8, I asked everyone to rate themselves on whether they considered themselves frugal or spendthrifts. This was similar to one of the seasonal casting questions in Season 11, Emirs of Extravagance, which was Pranav's original season. Let's turn to Mission 20, Drawing Under Influence, or the Pictionary mission. Players had a series of things to draw. The first letter of each of the 10 words to be drawn, when translated into Spanish, spelled Sabrina Bestie. Pranav's partner is named Sabrina. Finally, the final mission was titled Donde está el mole? In Spanish, the article el or la indicates the gender of the thing being described. Thus, the use of the masculine el was a sign that the mole is male. Hang on, we've got one last set of clues. They were hidden in the execution videos, or specifically the call-out order. If you tracked each time Pranav's results were accessed, you would get 0, 6070812. Pranav's results were never directly assessed again after the 8th execution. What's the string of numbers? 6 July was the birthday of Frida Kahlo, and 8 December was the birthday of her well-known longtime partner and artist, Diego Rivera. And aside from the clues, there were a couple of secret tasks that the mole Pranav had to do in order to prevent the minimum pot amount from being lowered. One, as you know, was Pranav's drawing of her gender-neutral queen because of the prompt that he received was monarch. The other task was to work in a certain phrase at dinner. The phrase that he was given was, "Her milk is not milk." It sounds pretty random, but if you put that phrase into Google, you might have uncovered that this was from the movie Coco. That line was said by Frida Kahlo in the movie. Let's take a look at that particular scene.
Darkness! And from the darkness, a giant papaya! Dancers emerge from the papaya, go to drink from the milk of their mother, who is a cactus. Pacuns also me. And her milk is not milk, but tears. Is it too obvious?
I think it's just the right amount of obvious.
Yeah, just the right amount of obvious. How many clues did you find to the identity of the mole? Let us know in the viewer's lounge.